a Sports Network production. Now to your host.
Hello? Is this real life? It is us. We are back. Officially back. Not in the unofficial capacity. It is official. I am your host, Logan Stone, and welcome to the 7th inning.
Stretch!
Oh my gosh, it actually happened. Your camera didn't freeze up. It's a miracle. Praise Jesus. Hi. I am with it's been so long I haven't even had a co-host. Josh, how are you doing?
Better than you, obviously.
Yeah. It's been a while. We haven't been together. We've been off kilter, you know. I got injured and then you
On
came
vacation.
in and oh yeah, you were on vacation, and so I did an episode by myself, and then I went on kind of a vacation, kind of a reunion, and so you took over. By the way, but then I came in for just a little bit for Randy Carricker because obviously I had to come in whenever the famous people are in. That's how much of a swell guy I am. But anyways, that was a great interview, by the way, with Randy Carricker.
Dude, it was fantastic. I encourage any of you who didn't get to see it, even if you're not a St. Louis sports fan, go check that one out. Randy was fantastic. He gave us 45 minutes on Cardinal baseball and playoffs, where we talked about other teams, and then he gave us a good 40 minutes on Blues hockey. So St. Louis fans and non-St. Louis fans and St. Louis fans alike, great interview. Randy Carricker is a stand-up guy, and we appreciate him coming on.
Yeah. Like I said, this is the 7th inning stretch. We got a new logo, which we hadn't talked about. It's kind of new, but I mean, it's been about a month old. But that being said, let's get into the hockey. Just kidding. Yeah, right. But anyways, yeah. We're going to talk about the Nolan Ryan documentary. I was kind of surprised by how little I knew about the great, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. People consider him top 5, top 10. People also consider him like just kind of not that great, and we'll talk about that. Why. But before we get into it, I have some sad news, Josh. Josh, you probably are going to get angry for me bringing this up, but baseball has lost its way. I know that we talk about the great Julio Rodriguez. Oh, I'm doing this because it really pisses me off. This is like, I don't get offended easily, but I'm as offended as you did whenever I talked about Yadier Molina like this.
Hold on, we're going to give you the full screen for this.
Oh, you're going to not take any heat for this one? I don't know. Baseball apparently has lost its way, apparently because there's blue jerseys in the sport. I don't know if, Josh, you were able to watch this podcast, but apparently...
I have not watched it yet, but I caught in on a lot of what you guys were talking about with the conversation I read.
Yeah. So according to the Saggy Nuts podcast, or the Sports Nuts podcast, as they like to be called, they say that baseball has lost its way because we have blue jerseys. So fuck off Dodgers, fuck off Yankees to a certain extent, fuck off Royals, Cardinals, and your weekend jerseys. Blue doesn't belong.
Jays, Phillies.
Yeah,
Tampa
Blue
Bay.
Jays, Phillies. Yeah, I mean, all these teams that just had the audacity. And anyways, I'm being a little bit sarcastic, but it was stupid because I don't know what they were doing. They were complaining about how baseball lost its way. What else did they say? They didn't like the standoffs. Apparently Luke Weaver and Robbie Way got into a standoff, I guess, last weekend.
Yeah.
And They did not like that. Why? They quoted and they said, "Why are you playing all these childish games?" Josh, who plays baseball?
Well,
The kids. Let
right
the
now,
kids
anybody
play.
between 19 and 43 years old.
Yeah. Well, guess what? They grew up wanting to play baseball, and this is angering to me because I don't get what they wanted. Like, how dare the players get into a goofy little thing over the weekend? And look, I disagree with Josh, and he claims to be pretty old school. But I think you don't even go this far. Like you kind of look like me in this whole thing, like compared to these guys, and that's saying something. And it's just so infuriating to me. Like why do you care? You're really gonna be talk about how, oh my gosh, baseball has lost its way because the San Diego Padres have these colorful City Connect jerseys to help represent and connect with their city that they are a part of. You have a problem with that? And they went on a whole bunch of stupid rants. There are a whole bunch of old guys who just don't even like baseball, it seems, and they just want to bitch and moan. They just want to bitch and moan about the thing, and I guess they want to go back to like when Limp Dick Frank was playing back in 1893, and whenever they got a no hitter, they would shake hands and walk off the field, and that was it. No fun in baseball, by golly. Josh, I know you didn't get to watch any of it, but you saw the post that they made.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think of this crap?
I think the blue jerseys were more. I think they were taking shots at the team with the alternates blue jerseys. I think it was more of a shot at like the Phillies, the Cardinals, the throwback stuff. They don't like.
He particularly had a problem with the Brewers baby blues, and
I think they don't like the adaptation of the different colors. I think they just like the traditional colors. See, so where I differ from these guys is I like the traditional game of baseball. I don't mind some of the things changing and adapting to the times. Yeah, we all know I'm not a big fan of the bat flips. I think it's a little bit, it's showing off, especially if it's not for like a walk-off. Walk-off, I can get it, but they don't like some of the antics. And I can understand their point on that, but we're talking about jerseys. We're talking about revenue. MLB has a problem right now. It's not the most popular pro sport in America. It's not even the top two. So baseball needs to do what it needs to do to generate revenue and to generate fandom. And going with these new jerseys, these outside alternate looks, they're trying to bring more people to the game. And some of these, I'm going to call them old fogies because that's what they seem to be to me. Can't adapt to the times. They don't understand what it is. I think it's more or less kind of one of those get off my lawn situations. These guys feel like it's their game, it's their sport, it's what they grew up on, it's their tradition, it's their lives, and they don't like any adaptation or any change in it. Now, you and I have gone back and forth about rules and changes that are coming to the league. Which, if you didn't catch our interview with Randy Carricker, go in and watch that because he had some interesting points. Even got me to think about something differently that I've been very staunch against to an extent. But these guys don't like any kind of change, anything fun. They're just so old school, and there's nothing wrong with innovation. They give it a shot. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, we can always get rid of the innovation. But these guys just are. I would love to have them on, to be honest with you. I mean, the Sports Nuts podcast, if you guys catch this, please come on. We'd love to have a conversation with you. We'll call it a friendly debate. Obviously, not here to change anyone's minds, but just have a conversation and maybe see if we can find some kind of a middle ground. So this would be me challenging you guys to a head-to-head 2v2
we'll call it a
matchup.
Fuck off. Yeah. Us versus the wrinkly, saggy nuts.
A little bit more professional.
But I'm glad you brought up something earlier. You said something about it changing. And I wish I don't have my notepad on. But I was thinking about this earlier. Baseball, one of the things that makes baseball so beautiful is it's constantly evolving. The game yesterday is not the same as what is today, and it's not going to be the same tomorrow. Every day you're seeing something new that you haven't seen maybe ever. I mean, we see things all the time, and it's really cool. Back. I'll use this as an example because you and I are both comic book fans, comic book movie fans. I grew up. I think you did too. We grew up on Adam West reruns. We're not that old, but
No, but I watched them.
doing the Batman's 1960s TV show. And we liked it. We liked that as kids. But then we also, as we grew, we started also watching Michael Keaton, and that was a totally different thing. And then we still appreciated both, but yeah. And so it's the same thing. We appreciate baseball. I love
Time out.
what?
Since you brought this up, I got to ask because we haven't had this conversation.
Okay.
Who's the best Batman?
I think it's Bale. Well,
that's what I was going to say. I think Christian Bale did the best.
I don't know. I think Ben Affleck, if he had a better movie, he was the better Batman. I think, like if you're, because I think closer to the comic books. But anyway,
I'll say Clooney or Kilmer over Ben Affleck.
Really?
Oh
my gosh. I really like Ben Affleck. But anyways, so yeah, like you and I, we love learning about talking about the Gas House Gang. Rogers Hornsby is one of my favorite players. And then your favorite era, the 80s, with Ozzie Smith, Willie McGee, Tom Herr, which by the way, over the week I went to the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Natalie, I'm so angry at these old people. I'm not even gonna address you right now. But I went to the Cardinals Hall of Fame and went to the 40th anniversary of the 1982 World Series. It was a pretty good exhibit. It was a little smaller than I was expecting, but we're used to it by this point.
Oh, she's clowning on you.
But anyways, these old fucks, I can't wait till they're in the nursing home. Getting their diapers changed. Yeah. But if you haven't watched the Saggy Wrinkly Nuts podcast, check them out and then tell them to come on the VSN network. Saggy fucking old people. Anyways.
It's really hard to get them on if you're just going to insult them straight up the whole time.
Oh, I tell them I hate them all the time. As much as I can. I told them they need to come on and just because they were like, "You're a young punk, you asshole." They're like, "We don't listen to you because history's on our side. You see, Sonny." And I'm like, you know what? I can't wait.
That's going to be you when you're old. You know that, right?
I'm not going to be old. I'm going to die at 35 years old. Anyways,
that's not very long.
So I have 10 good years left in me. Anyways,
you'll waste most of them behind a computer screen.
So, yes. Anyways, there's no one else I'd rather be with than you. And
I know, I'm all you got.
Oh gosh, not you, Natalie. You're not a young punk asshole. Anyways, so like I said, I went up to St. Louis and during the flight, I saw that they had the Nolan Ryan documentary, and I had heard that it had been really good. So I wanted to talk about it because I watched it, and it's actually a really great documentary. So yeah, let's Josh and I, you and I were talking. I'm sorry, I'm a little out of it today. You and I were talking earlier about how little we actually knew about Nolan Ryan. One of the things I didn't realize was he was a part of the 1969 Mets. the Miracle Mets, a great team. By all intents and purposes, he was relief pitcher, um, and actually had a really bad career with the Mets.
He
Um,
did.
he's an 8-time All-Star, 2-time ERA title. He never won a Cy Young, which is amazing to me because he has 7 no hitters, 2 no hitters in a year.
He's one of 4
Uh,
pitchers to do that, I believe.
I don't know how many people did that, but yeah, it's very few. He grew up idolizing Sandy Koufax, and he said one of the things that he wanted to do when he was a kid was become like really fast, like Sandy Koufax, or velocity, like Sandy. Um, so yeah, that it's really cool. Obviously, he's known as one of the more wild pitchers. He has 51 records as a pitcher. Let's see. He has 5,714 career strikeouts, 215 career double-digit strikeout games, 7 career no-hitters, 12 career one-hitters, tied with Bob Feller, 18 career two-hitters, 31 career three-hitters, 15 200 strikeout seasons, 6 300 strikeout seasons, 6.5 career hits per 9 innings, 5.26 single season hits per 9 innings back in 1972, lowest batting average allowed, career minimum 1,500 innings, 26 seasons with at least 1 win. Okay, that's weird. 2,795 career walks, 10 grand slams allowed, tied for most by a pitcher, and 757 career stolen bases allowed. So he's not all his records are not all of his records are good records. He's got the most walks and he's got the most grand slams given up by a pitcher.
But when you play that long and you face that many batters, you pitch that many innings, you're going to have some negative records too. But between 2 seasons, 73 and 74, he recorded 750 strikeouts.
Yeah.
In 2 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, he played when he was 19 in 1966 till he was 46 in 1993. I mean, that's
63.
Well, yeah, you're right. He did. So yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, no one plays 27 years, and obviously it was a different game back then where you came in earlier. You didn't really go to college and you didn't really develop in the minor leagues as much as you do now.
Right.
So yeah, but I mean, it's just so amazing that he was able to, and he had high velocity. They were, I'll get into this in a little bit, but they were saying that, when he was in Houston, everyone was expecting his velocity to come down because he was getting in his 30s and he kept going up and up and up. And then whenever he went to Texas, the Rangers, they were expecting him to get his velocity down, but he was still throwing 108 miles an hour, which is what everyone says he got. Now, it may be inflated just because everyone thinks, but, they were saying, by today's if you put that in today's technology, he actually did throw in it 108. And I'm thinking, I don't know if that's possible, but hey, I mean, Nolan Ryan was a freak. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this. Facing Nolan is on Netflix right now. Very interesting documentary. Started his career with the Mets, obviously won the World Series with them. They tried to make him a pitcher, and he just was not working out. He was just way too wild. They said he was more like the pitcher Tim Robbins from Bull Durham. And yeah, he was just so crazy. And so he went over to California, and the pitching coach over there just tweaked a couple of things, it sounded like, and he ended up being top 8 young. I mean, he led the league in strikeouts that year, and also walks with 157 walks that year. He led the league in wild pitches that year also. So he was dominant, but he wasn't, just super dominant. And then the next year, so he breaks his first record, which is in 1973, he gets 383 strikeouts, which beats his idol, Sandy Koufax, which is a big deal. I believe he also threw a no-hitter. That was his first career no-hitter. And he got second in the Cy Young voting, which is so weird because the guy who beat him was Jim Palmer. And Jim Palmer had a 2.40 ERA, whereas Nolan Ryan had a 2.87 ERA. Jim Palmer had 22 wins and 9 losses. Nolan Ryan had 21 and 16. And this was back in the day when ERA was, the only stat they looked at. And they also only looked at wins and losses. They considered that a big deal back in the day, too.
Dude, that was a big deal until 2015.
Well, yeah. But I just mean they really valued that back in that was like, if you didn't win, you could have a 0.23 ERA, and if you didn't have one win, then you were just garbage, in like 300 innings or something. And they liked the innings, and so I mean, I'm looking at Jim Palmer's stats, and yeah, he was good, but I think 383 strikeouts and a 2.87 ERA. I mean, in today's stats, would you consider it, or?
Well, there's no question that's Cy Young.
Yeah,
that's a shutdown pitcher, and in the way the league is right now, I mean, your pitchers are valued by the strikeouts thing. Like, you have pitchers that are strikeout pitchers, and you have pitchers like the Cardinals have that are fielding pitchers, where they pitch for the ground ball, they pitch for the ball to be in play. But then you have pitchers like Sandy Alcantara for the Marlins, he's a strikeout dominant pitcher. That's what he does. When Kershaw was in his prime, he was a strikeout pitcher. If those guys were letting ground balls out, even if the team was turning double plays, you'd say something was wrong. Nolan Ryan was a strikeout pitcher.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was strikeout or walk. And
yeah, that's the way he was. He was strikeout or walk or grand slam.
Yeah, for sure. And so it was just interesting to me that he just never won a Cy Young. So, so he 1973, he just becomes a big deal. Like, all of a sudden, the California Angels go from being basically the laughing stock of the Major League Baseball, and to pretty cool team. And I believe he was on the same team as Reggie Jackson at one point during that time, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, that's two big baseball guys. Anyway, so in '79, his last year with the Angels, he and the owner got into a whole big to-do about getting paid, because the owner thought that Nolan Ryan should take a discount contract with the California Angels because they made him who he was. And Nolan Ryan not wanting to be, he's not one of those guys who's going to just take a discount just because he feels like he's owing someone something. He went over to Houston. He wanted to get close to home. Apparently another reason was one of his sons, I think it was, his oldest son, when he was a kid, got hit by a car, lost a spleen, lost a kidney. He lived, and so he decided to come closer to home. So The reason why he went to Houston and Texas is because he wanted to be closer to home. Which I never realized that. I always thought it was curious why he went to Houston, Texas.
Houston did make him the first
But
$1 million player too.
Yep, first $1 million player, and big deal in the '80s because the Astrodome and the Astros are supposed to be like the next huge thing, and apparently he and Pete Rose became really good friends after their careers. But during their careers, they would fight each other all the time, and they would taunt each other in kind of a joking, kind of serious way. And in 1981, he had a 1.69 ERA, which led the league, but he also led the league in walks. So,
what the funny part was?
What?
So Ryan, during his career, had a 12.4% walk rate in the regular season. In his postseason career, he had a 6.2 walk rate. Dude was locked down in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But he was wild thing in the regular season. He also never had – no, hold on. Rephrase. He only had one wild pitch in the playoffs, and he never hit a batter in the playoffs.
Yeah. That's surprising because, he loved to hit batters. He said at some points it was just, if you looked at me the wrong way, I was going to hit you. And I can't remember who the player was. But he said, if this guy got a hit off me on a pitch that he shouldn't have gotten a hit off. And so the next pitch, I beamed him right in the head.
Is that Robin Ventura?
No, it was, oh my gosh, he was at Pujols' 700. Is it Dave Parker?
There were a lot of guys there for that.
Yeah. But anyways, so I thought that was funny. He got fourth place in Cy Young voting behind Fernando Valenzuela, who had a 13 wins that year. Also behind Tom Seaver and Steve Carlton. No one had nearly as good of a ERA as him. Fernando Valenzuela had more strikeouts than him, oddly enough, and more innings than him. And he also had 8 shutouts, 11 complete games. So it's just weird how it seemed like they just didn't value him as much as anyone else.
When you do the same thing over and over again, year in and year out,
yeah,
and you're going to be repetitive, there's going to be years where guys come out of the woodwork, or other guys just have years just as good as you, and they're going to flip it over to these other people because you can't just have the same guy winning year in and year out. It's like, not to bring up hockey, but like, who dominated hockey from the 80s and 90s and won basically every top player award?
The great one.
And Mario Lemieux. Those two guys dominated every statistical stat from the late 70s through the early 90s. They won top goal scorer, top point getter every single year. And it was Gretzky way more than Lemieux, but it seemed like Lemieux was the only one up there with him.
Yeah. I've never heard of Lemieux. I thought that was a Beauty and the Beast character.
Mario Lemieux? Oh, Jesus.
Is he the one who was a plumber before?
Yeah, that's
and
yeah.
And he used to like clean pipes by just jumping in them.
It's Mario.
I'm kidding. I still don't know who that guy is, but still. Anyways, so yeah, it's just he's so dominant. He led the league in pitching or strikeouts for years and multiple years. Got his last career no hitter in '92 42 when he was 45 years old. I think he's the oldest to ever do that.
Yep.
So yeah, his whole career. Obviously, he's remembered for Ventura. He was talking about how I think it. Hold on. He when he was with the Astros, there was he accidentally hit a guy, and oh my gosh, he accidentally hit a guy, and they came up and charged the mound, and he wasn't prepared for that, and so he was kind of taken aback that they came at him. And so he said from that day on, whenever someone was charging, I was going to make sure I was ready. And so they cut back to Ventura, and they said that day, during that series, that they had been hitting players on both sides, and they said, and the manager of the who was the White Sox, I think it was, right, that Ventura was on.
I have to look it up. I can't remember.
Yeah. I think it was, the manager of the White Sox said, if you guys get hit by Nolan Ryan, charge the mound, and if you don't, you're going to get charged fined $500. So you can kind of see on the replay with that context, you see you see Ventura, he gets hit, and he kind of stays right there, and he kind of he's like, I really don't want to charge the mound. And then obviously, the big thing is he charges the mound, and Nolan Ryan bashes his face in, and every Texan, loves that. George Bush came on. He's like, Texans like to be known as that kind of those kind of people, like, hey, we're going to hit you, and then if you try to do something about it, we're going to beat the crap out of you for trying to do something about it.
Robin Ventura was on the Chicago White Sox. You're correct. And Nolan Ryan got 4 or 5 shots on him before the benches ever got there. Just put him in that headlock and just boom, 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 boom.
So I kind of got the two big things meshed together. Whenever he got hit in the face with the baseball, and he was bleeding all over the jersey. Yeah, I thought that was from getting hit by the Ventura. No, but that wasn't the case. Those are two separate incidences. But yeah, that's kind of something he's always remembered. Everybody who's anybody just remembers that. Going back to
20-year difference between Ventura and Ryan at the time.
Yeah. And
and Ventura got his butt kicked.
Yeah. And I want to go back to the no-hitters real quick, because they were saying when he got his third no-hitter, the one that tied Sandy Koufax for most no-hitters, they said that he had bone chips in his elbow, and he couldn't move his arm the day of the no-hitter. And he said by the time it started pitching, he was thinking, I guess I'm gonna be out for the rest of the season. And then he threw the no-hitter, and he thought, well, I guess I'm okay now. So, it was just amazing. And then his last no-hitter, number 7, he thought he was having really bad back spasms, and he said, I couldn't move my back. It was bad. It was like I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand. I was in constant pain. And he said he turned over to his manager, Bobby Valentine, at the time, and he said, hey, this, just so you know, this might be it. And they go over to Bobby Valentine, and he goes, I'm thinking I have to warm up my bullpen, and it's not even the first, like, they haven't even gotten an out yet in the first inning. Like, Nolan Ryan hasn't even thrown a pitch yet. And he said, I'm also thinking I'm going to have to think of what I have to say in a press conference where I say Nolan Ryan is done with his career. And he gets no-hitter number 7, oddly enough, and he plays for another 2-3 years, and it's just amazing. And one other thing I wanted to talk about is his workout routine. I mean, I saw they did a little bit of a montage did. And, I mean, it was pretty amazing what he was doing, especially back in the day because pitchers, I mean, there was kind of this weird thing that pitchers needed to rest their arms, and if they didn't have any muscle, and I don't know, they threw better. And he swam all the time. He ran. He would ride his bike. He would do constant workouts, and they said he did like 3 hours a day, except for the day before he pitched, which is pretty amazing. Just a workhorse. It's a shame that he never played for. I mean, obviously he played for the Mets, and then the Astros between 80 and 85 were somewhat good. But it's a shame he didn't go to a real contender. I mean, just think about how awesome he would have been on the Cardinals or not the Yankees. Well, I was going to say in the 80s they kind of sucked. That's the whole House Steinbrenner and the whole. Just the idea of just going to one of those dominant teams, the Reds in the 70s or the Phillies in the 80s.
Or the Mets in the 80s.
Yeah, the Mets in the 80s. Yeah. I mean,
if you've been on the Cardinals in the 80s, oh my God.
Yeah, let me tell you something. We would be talking a lot more about Nolan Ryan.
82, 85, 86, 88. They would have won all those.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. 87. Stupid 87. And 85, he would have smashed the guy, the umpire's face in, whatever that fucker's name, John Deckinger or whatever his name is. Anyways, so yeah, Nolan Ryan, Facing Nolan on Netflix. Go watch that. It's a really great documentary. So yeah, that's about all I wanted to talk about with Nolan Ryan. Was there anything that you've seen, like we're both looking at a stat page. I mean, is there something that you see that you just surprised that you didn't know before?
I knew he played for so long, but to see the records he was doing and the way he was pitching in his mid-40s just blows my mind. It's just unreal. I mean, nobody could do that nowadays. I mean, we're seeing Albert Pujols right now hit 702 over the weekend. He hit 703 tonight. He just, topped Babe Ruth for RBIs. We're seeing Albert have this resurgence at 42. He's having his best hitting season since 2016, and it just makes me think, if Nolan Ryan took his good care of himself as it's portrayed and it sounds like he did, could Wainwright throw for another 4 or 5 years? Could Pujols swing the bat for another 3 or 4 years? Could Yachty play a couple more years? As a Cardinal fan, this is what's going through my head right now. I know I'm thinking about go back and think about that. If Yachty took as good of care of himself as Nolan did, Yachty's stats probably would have dropped off. The bat would have dropped off. You would sing a different tune.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's how many
guys?
though.
What about Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, Roger Clemens? I mean, some of these guys who, when we were kids, retired, or when we were young teenagers, retired and left the game, who were so dominant.
Well,
speaking of Ryan didn't look at the stats as just.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Randy Johnson said, I'm second all time in strikeouts, and I'm behind him by 1,000.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing. Like, he has 5,000 career strikeouts. And, Bob Gibson, he's one of our favorites. He dominated for years, and he was not able to play as long as Nolan Ryan. He's not even close. He's got like 3,300 strikeouts, I believe.
Something like that.
Yeah. And, you think of the other dominant pitchers, and it's not even a joke. And then, or it's not even a contest. And then you see, he has the most walks, and you're just like, oh, well, he wasn't completely dominant, but then he also was. And so it's like, it's just this weird thing. He's kind of a paradox of like, yeah, he's really great, but he's also he wasn't. It was just weird.
He is Charlie Sheen in Major League in real life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's the best way to describe Nolan Ryan's career. I mean, he was as good and as dominant as he was wild and crazy. And that's the best way to sum up Nolan Ryan. He's a legend. He will always be a legend. There will never in our lifetimes never be somebody to do it as well as he has, or as well as he did, or set the records that he set. It's just we're never going to see it again.
Yeah. And
so
Dave Winfield. Oh my gosh, that was killing me. Dave Winfield. But yeah, we talk about. I mean, one of our favorite pitchers right now is Justin Verlander, and he idolizes Nolan Ryan, and he says, I want to play till I'm 45, 46, just like Nolan. And I mean, he's taking care of his body as much as he can, but he's still
probably going to win the Cy Young this year.
Yeah, he is going to. I mean, I think it is basically over with now, unless Dylan Cease just get some love and appreciation. But I doubt, just with how the White Sox have been doing, that he's not going to get anything. But yeah, it's just, yeah, he's probably the best pitcher in our generation, and he's not even close. It gave us a real appreciation for Nolan Ryan. I wish Randy Johnson had been in there more. Roger Clemens, I wish he had been in there more. But for some reason, Craig Biggio had his interview in the Astrodome, which I was curious as to why he was in there. But anyways, go watch it. Josh, do you have a plug you want to do for us? It's been a while since we've done a plug.
I mean, we got to show some love to our big sponsors out there. Let me get their information up here. So if you don't know, you can check it out. We're going to go with Row One Brand tonight. Row One Brand is fantastic. Tons of vintage artwork, coffee cups, T-shirts. And I got a T-shirt that I wear a lot of times on here. It's my white one with the throwback of the St. Louis Cardinals Angry Bird. The original Angry Bird before Angry Birds became a mobile video game and a cartoon. The Cardinals were the Angry Birds. But anyways, we're going to talk about Row One Brand. Anytime you go to Row One Brand's art gallery and you put in Variety Sports or VSN, what is the discount code again? It's VSP15. Wow, I forgot. We never changed it. It's the original from back when we were just a Variety Sports podcast. But anytime you go to their art gallery, you get something out of their art gallery. When you go to check out, put in VSP15. That'll get you 15% off your art gallery purchase. That does not include your T-shirts, your coffee mugs, but any of your tapestries, canvases you want to put up on your wall, in your man cave, or if your dad likes something he wants to put in his office, your grandparents like something, or your uncle or your boss who's a big old school sports fans. They don't just have baseball; they got football, NFL, they got college football. They got a little bit of everything.
Old school?
Old school, yeah. Old school.
Out there. You know what? We can send it to the Saggy Nuts podcast. Sorry for being such old and decrepit and sad.
Well, we could find something out there for them. But definitely check out Row One Brand. Also, if you're looking for more like T-shirts, they're a little more individualized or a little more customized to individual players, go check out In the Clutch. When you go to In the Clutch, you get 10% off anything and everything you order with code Variety Sports at checkout. So when we first hooked up with In the Clutch, I went up to look for shirts for Logan, and I found one with Juan Soto. I found one with Trey Turner. I found me a Yadier Molina and Howard Pools and Wainwright. So lots of individualized stuff. Go check them out. They got stuff for all the different major sports as well. So check out In the Clutch, 10% off anything you order with code Variety Sports. Go check out Row One Brand. VSP 15% off anything that you order out of the art gallery for your man cave or gift for anybody for the holidays. With the holidays coming up, it is a good time to check those two sponsors out. They will take good care of you with great product.
Yeah.
So, Logan,
yeah. Yes.
I think we need to talk about playoff baseball real quick.
Okay, hold on. Before we do that, I wanted to talk about 700. Something you love. something I wanted to. So, just not even a 5-minute conversation.
You know it's gonna be
Because
long.
that's a nah. I wanted to see who you thought 30, 40, 50 years. Because
You
basically
just cut that whole
in
thing.
some
You just say
aspect-
cut out.
So I was saying that we may not see 700 by a player for 30, 40, 50 years. Because technically the last person who did it was Hank Aaron. And yes, obviously Bonds, but he was helped and he cheated.
Tainted.
Yeah, it's tainted. Tainted. Never mind.
Could Judge do it?
Well, I wanted to see who did you think could do it. Last week I was thinking, I don't think Trout could do it because he's already 30 years old and he's getting injured a lot. But then he comes back and he missed like a month, 2 months of baseball, and he's already got 40 home runs this year. And he missed 2 months of baseball, and he's still like hitting home runs like it's easy. And so I think it's possible for him. Another name I was thinking of was Juan Soto, not Han Solo, only because he's 23 years old. He's already got I think he's got 100 home runs already, and so I think he's going to get a contract that gets him to 40 years old. So he's going to have the at bats, I think, especially if he stays with the Padres. So that was my thought process on that one. Aaron Judge, maybe, but he's already 30 years old, and he's, I think, only got 150.
No, he's got to have more than that.
Hold on.
Look it up. Look it up. Career home runs for Aaron Judge. He's got to have more than that. He's
219. There it is. 219.
Oh, so he ain't going to get it. Never mind.
Yeah.
He ain't going to go on that kind of a tear. He'd have to play till he's 45.
Yeah.
Man, okay. I didn't realize he was out. I thought he had a lot more. So this is really a breakout home run season for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he had 52, but the thing with him was he got injured too a lot.
See, health is huge in this too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think, how much was Albert hurt between 2012 and 2021, and he still got the 700.
Yeah.
That means if the dude would have never left St. Louis, one, and two, he would have been a little bit more healthy, I guarantee you we're not talking about 700. We're talking about 800, 850.
Yeah.
And we're talking about passing Hank Aaron and RBIs.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, if he had been with a competitive team, that's what I mean. I honestly, I've grown to appreciate that he hit the home run in Dodger Stadium. I was like, you know what? Because he even said in his press conference after, he said, I like that it happened in Dodger Stadium because they made me love the game again. And so that made me I was like, you know what, that's cool.
Which is funny because did you watch the ceremony on Sunday?
I've watched a little bit of it. I got to the point where they named a day after them by the mayor.
Well, when he talked about how coming back to St. Louis rejuvenated his love and his appreciation for the game.
Yeah.
So I think probably the run in LA kind of started kind of itching him back for love of the game, but St. Louis really encompassed it for him. Of course, coming home was going to do that.
Well, also it's probably nostalgic for him, and that was it was competitive year in and year out. So I mean, it's just, I'm sure he loved that, and it's fun to do that whenever you're winning. When you're with the Angels and you're losing, even though you're playing with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, who's probably the best other than Pujols right now. Not right now, but this generation. It's got to be hard on you mentally.
Why do I go to the park every day? I'm 35 years old.
So yeah, I honestly, I don't know of anyone who, maybe Julio, maybe Rodriguez could do it. He's got a big contract.
Really, really young. We'll
He's
see
really
what happens
young
with his career.
That'd be
J
cool.
Ram.
Dang it! I wish I didn't X out of that one. Because no, it's my fault. I'm an idiot.
I'll see what's random for you. I mean, there's plenty of guys who could do it, who are young, who are coming to the game. I mean, there's plenty of prospects right now who are killing.
He's got
it in AAA.
192.
And he's what?
Yeah.
How many years is he in the league?
Maybe Jordan
24?
Walker.
I was thinking about the other kid, Moises. I can't remember his last name.
Is it Gomez?
Moises Gomez. Yeah, I think that's what it is. He led the AAA in home runs this year. I mean, could we see 700 again in our lifetime? There's a chance. I mean, I'm not going to say it can't happen. The likelihood of it, probably not. But baseball right now is home run or strikeout. And until they do something else to alter the balls again or they make another change in the bats, I mean, it's very possible we could see 700. Now, we'll probably be 55, 60 before that happens. I'm saying you 55, me 60. Or I guess you 55, me 65.
Yeah.
But let's give a little update on the home run count. Albert's up to 703. I predicted 705. I need 2 more, and he's got 2 more games. I also predicted he would get the RBI. He'd pass Babe Ruth for RBIs. He did that tonight as well. So 2 for 2. Well, 1 for 2 on my way to 2 for 2. Most importantly, I said he was going to get 700 home runs, and I said he was going to get the RBIs. So I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now. My predictions, which means if I have one more of my preseason predictions comes true, that's Triple Crown for Josh, and I'm going to retire with my predictionary.
I'm going to tell you I have the first episode of 7th Inning Stretch queued up. I'm going to watch it probably on Wednesday, and I'm going to see how fucking far off we were. It's probably going to be horrible.
I'm telling you, this is the only thing I got right.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Yeah, because we were wrong about the Yankees.
Yeah, because we thought they were going to be in 4th place.
I was right about the Giants. Because I said the Giants were going to be lost without Buster Posey.
Oh, that's right.
Which, honestly, a month and a half into the season, I thought I was dead wrong.
I think I was half right, half wrong about the White Sox. I think I said they weren't going to have any depth because they were injury prone and they had the worst minor league system. But then I think I had them in the playoffs just because the Central was so weak.
Yeah.
So
I think you said Cleveland could possibly win. No, you said Detroit.
Oh, yeah, because I had the Tigers as a dark horse right there.
I had Seattle in the AL West. I think we both had the Dodgers in the NL West.
Oh, I thought the Astros were gonna have a fumble or gonna fall off because they were going down too. It seemed like
wrong there.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember who we had in the NL East. I can't remember if we had the Mets or I'm sure we had the Mets.
I think we had the Mets.
I think we had the Mets. So we're not going to be too far off on that because they're going to make the playoffs. But
yeah, it's going to be weird. It's been
we should totally
do
that after the World Series. We should go get all of our predictions off of the first episode for the season, and we should check ourselves.
Yeah,
just for credibility reasons. But let's talk about these playoffs real quick.
Oh, wait, I wanted to talk about my mom. No, I'm kidding.
All right, so I put in if 2022 postseason started today. I hope this is today's thing. Today's predictions. Do you have the Mets at number 2 seed?
No.
Atlanta at number 2 seed?
No, Atlanta's right now.
Okay, so this isn't as of today. This must have been as of a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me so mad. It's all kinds of screwed up.
Right now, the number 1 seed is the Dodgers. Number 2 is the Braves. Number 3 is the Cardinals. Number 4 is the Mets. Number 5 is the Padres. And number 6 right now is the Phillies. That's the National League. So right now, it would be in the first round in the wild card series. It would be the Cardinals and Phillies right now, and then it would be the Mets and the Padres facing off.
I found the right bracket.
Did you find it?
Found it, yeah.
Good, because that was off the top of my head, and I was screwed for the
So, yeah.
AL.
You got it. It would be Phillies in St. Louis for the wild card, Padres in New York for the wild card on the NL, Atlanta and LA get the bye. In the AL, it would be the Rays at the Indians, which we'll do a prediction show, I'm sure, on Wednesday. So we're not going to go there. We're looking at Seattle and Toronto.
Braves at the where?
No, Rays at the – I'm sorry, the Guardians.
Oh, Rays. I thought you
Rays
said,
at the Guardians.
I
I
the
believe
Braves.
Seattle in Toronto for the first round, and then the Yanks and the Stros get a bye. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we could
Who do you
see
wanna-
two divisional matchups in the AL. If Tampa Bay beats Cleveland, they play the Yankees in the next round. And if Seattle beats Toronto, they play Houston. So in the divisional round, we may actually see division rivals play each other in the AL on both. That could happen in the NL as well, because if the Phillies top the Cardinals, they'll play Atlanta. And if the Padres top the Mets, they'll play the Dodgers. So obviously this is as of today. There's still a few more games to be played. Positioning could be jockeyed around a little bit. I don't know if Milwaukee won tonight or not. If they lost, they're out. That's over, and that NL's been decided.
I need to stop using my computer on this. Well, yeah, like let's talk about that because the Phillies are playing the Astros.
Right. The Astros don't need it. God bless you, sir.
Oh man.
God bless you.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. And then the Brewers are playing the Diamondbacks.
So the Brewers should win and should have a legitimate chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they have to sweep the Diamondbacks.
And then the Phillies need to lose 2 of 3.
Yeah.
Because the Phillies were up by 2 games on them.
But honestly, I was watching the Brewers and Marlins games the last couple days. They are lost. They have no fire in them. I was looking at Craig Counsell, and he was just lost too. He was like, I don't even know what to do. I was thinking, if I was the manager, I would just start getting angry. I would start throwing shit. I'd be like, I would think this is like, we got to get them to rally around something. And I would just say, hey, you guys want to sit on your asses all this time, or you guys want to actually win it? Like, I would just try to do something I would honestly, if I would tell one of my pitchers, I would say, hey, I want you to beam this guy right in the shoulder or something, or in the ribs, and just start a brawl or something, just to get something going, like how they used to do in the old days. But they just look lost. And I tried to get Lily Schumacher in, but she's too good for us. To talk about the Brewers.
She might just be busy.
Nah, she's not busy. So, yeah, it's just, I honestly think with how bad the Phillies have been playing, I think the Brewers have just been playing worse.
You know, we can say this again real quick before we move on from this, but the Josh Hader trade broke the Brewers.
Well, yeah.
It broke their locker room so badly.
Yeah.
That the team just self-imploded. And then it didn't help that the Cardinals came out and were the best team in baseball in August. The Brewers fall apart. The Cardinals find their rhythm, and it just flipped up.
Well, you look at what the Cardinals didn't. They didn't make major moves. Quintana and Montgomery were not they
didn't give up anybody huge.
They weren't blockbuster trades.
Nope.
And the Brewers didn't have to do much. They got rid of Hader, which is it's not the smartest thing.
Because he hasn't done much since he went to San Diego either.
Yeah. Well, he's found it. The Padres right now are doing really well, apparently. I think in the last 9 games, Juan Soto has 4 home runs or something, and now. Well,
the last 9 games, out Pujols first 4 home runs too.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Listen, don't rub salt in this wound, okay?
I have to because my
My
guy's
heart.
better than yours.
Oh man. Oh God. Cardinals Chronicles. I may have to take my shirt off on Wednesday.
Don't do that. You're going to kill our viewership.
But we oh my gosh. Sorry, I started thinking about it because they made the announcement that they were going after big shortstops. I was like, yes. Namely one. Where was I? Anyways, the Brewers, I mean, the Diamondbacks, they like playing spoiler. I mean, they play spoiler basically all year, every year. So I kind of expect the Brewers to lose it. Braves lost. The Mets game got postponed.
Man, they're running out of time with these games that are getting postponed.
Yeah, right. And it's the Nationals too, so it's like you don't have to make it up. I mean, you have to make it up because even though it's the Nationals, because you have to figure out what place you are in the division. But the Braves lost. Brewers are losing 2-1 to the Diamondbacks as of right now in the top of the seventh. And the Phillies are winning over the Astros. I think the Astros are just going to not give it to the Phillies, but they're not going to be putting out their A-list teams.
Oh, God, no. Look what the Cardinals did tonight.
Yeah.
They started Quintana. He went 3 scoreless, beautiful innings, 38 pitches. Then they put Michaelis in.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. There's a change that I do not like, and that's they don't do the September call-ups anymore. Where you just you can add all 40 of your 40-man roster, bring them up to the big leagues. You can only do 29, I believe it is now, maybe 28. I hate that. But I understand why they stopped doing it because owners realized that fans were not going to games just to watch the AAA team play. They wanted to. So, but I also hate it because to me, I think it makes the playoffs more interesting whenever you have all these guys rested the last series. Like the Cardinals, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Quintana, and some of these other guys should not be pitching or playing. Albert Pujols even.
Albert Pujols needs to keep playing.
Oh well, yeah. Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry. I forget. I forget it's his last year.
He needs every plate appearance he can get, not just for the sake of hitting more RBI. It's over at this point. He's gotten everything he's going to get. I'm fine with where he's at. But to keep that bat hot, to keep his eyes hot, dude. Okay, hold on. We're going to say something real quick. Did you realize since the All-Star break, he's hit off of righties at 280? He's gotten 8 home runs and 28 RBIs.
It's been about the same time when I told you I don't want him playing against righties. Listen, you're welcome for that jinx right there.
I'm just telling you, got to have more faith sometimes.
It's not that I didn't have faith. He had a 175 batting average at the beginning of the year, and then I didn't know that he was going to turn into 2005 Albert Pujols.
Hey, when a man says, I found what was wrong and I've got it fixed, you listen to it.
Yeah. Let's do a quick predictions. Do we think it's the Phillies or the Brewers right now?
Phillies.
Okay. Let's do Phillies versus Cardinals. Who wins?
Cardinals.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's see. Padres versus Mets. Who wins that?
Mets.
Really? I think it's the Padres just because they're the hot team right now.
So I say Mets, and this is my problem. I say Mets because they are the better overall team.
Yeah.
But I would not be shocked.
Yeah.
If the Padres pull this one out. Like it wouldn't ruin my day. It wouldn't blow my mind. It would not be like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
Like, when the Falcons blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl to Tom Brady and they came back and Patriots came back and won. Not that kind of astounding. It wouldn't blow my mind by any means.
That's a top 5 Super Bowl, right?
Not really.
Really? You don't think that? Top 10? I mean, I love that Super Bowl. That's one of the only Super Bowls I rewatch. That and the Giants versus Patriots.
Those two are in my top 5. The 99 Rams Super Bowls are my top 5.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But
The Colts
anyways,
Super Bowl is
yeah,
my
I
top
kind of had the I had the Padres winning it, but yeah, like you said, like it's kind of a toss up to me. I
It
think if
depends on if
Scherzer,
Scherzer and DeGrom show up.
yeah, Scherzer. I mean, yeah, they're kind of the X factors right now. So it would be Cardinals versus Braves right now. Who do you have? This one is going to be a lot more interesting because they're kind of at the same level right now.
Right. I'm going to give the edge to the Cardinals, and here's why. We have 2 new pitching additions that we didn't have the last 2 times we played the Braves, and our bats are good right now.
Well, the last time we played the Braves, we won 2 of 3.
Right, but we weren't gelling. We were hot,
Yeah.
cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. Right now, the
Yeah.
team's playing consistent baseball.
Yeah.
So I would give it to the Cardinals in 6. They'd have to do it in 6.
Yeah. No, this is a best of 5. This
Oh,
is the
best of
DS.
5. I forgot it was a 5-game series. They'd probably be 5. They'd probably be in 5 then.
Man. I think if Strider wasn't injured, I'd give the edge to the Braves. But the Strider is injured, and I mean, yeah, they just beat the Mets, but I mean that's kind of like one of those things. Is like the Braves, are they lukewarm or are they hot to Braves or to Mets? Cold team or a warm team. So I
And the division rivals.
yeah, and
They
division
see each other
rivals,
more often. It's a little different.
and they needed it more than the Mets did. I mean, the Mets needed it, but so you have the Mets versus Dodgers. I have the Padres versus Dodgers. Who do you got there?
Dodgers.
Yeah, I think it's Dodgers. And then it would be Dodgers and Cardinals in the CS. Who do you got there?
Cardinals.
Really?
Here's my thing.
Dodgers
Here's my
get
thing.
cold.
If the Cardinals get out of the first 2 rounds, at that point, there's going to be such a fire with the team to make sure they go the distance to get Yachty and Albert that World Series. And I'll be honest with you, I think Waino's done at the end of the year. I think. Hold on, let me explain it. You at least understand my reasoning. The original plan was for Waino and Yachty to go out together, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
all
what everybody was wanting.
All of a sudden, Albert comes back, and Waino kind of backpedals and say, "Yeah, I didn't say I was going to be done." Da 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 da. I think because of the character that Adam Wainwright has, he didn't want to take away from what Albert and Yachty were going to have, and he knew the 3 big boys going out at the same time was going to be really, really hard on the city, and there was going to be a lot of emotion, a lot of distraction. So I think he pulled back and said, I don't know what's going to happen. Now, if he would have been 16-8, and his ERA was 3.5, and he wasn't dealing with dead arm right now, maybe he comes back for another season. But I think because of the kind of character he is and the love he has for Yachty and the love he has for Albert, I think he wanted to make sure they got it, because I don't think he ever plans on leaving St. Louis.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a St. Louis icon for the rest of his life. He knows Yachty's going back home. He knows Albert's probably going back out to LA. He's going to be here. He's going to get his accolades. They will probably, if he retires in the offseason, he will have a huge, and I mean huge, celebration of his career on opening day next year in Busch Stadium. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. With what he's going through right now, if the arm can't get right by December or January, I think he retires. And he gets all of his accolades on his own. He just didn't want to become more of a distraction from Yachty and Albert.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I part of me thinks that he's going to come back next year just because he has something to prove. and I think he's grown to appreciate kind of the off-field stuff. I think maybe what's more realistic is he comes back for one game opening day for the Cardinals, and then he retires after that. They say
I think if he starts and finishes, I don't see him
opening day,
doing a one game.
have your moment.
Yeah, I think he either comes back for the whole thing or he don't.
That's another thing. This is the thing I think about the Dodgers and Cardinals and the CS. I think the Dodgers are going to get weak. They're going to have they're going to have a series of rest, and they're going to get kind of fatigued, I think. And I think they're going to plow through the Padres pretty easily. In my opinion, that's what I think. I think they beat them in 5. And I think the Braves and the Cardinals series is going to go down to 7. And we've seen this with teams where if they get finished with the series early and they kind of get complacent and they start getting like wound up, and then by the time they get to the championship series or the World Series, they just kind of choke. And right. I think the Cardinals, if they make it this far, they have an advantage over the Dodgers, even though the Dodgers are the best team in the league right now. No question. So I kind of give the Cardinals.
You think the Dodgers are better than Houston?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really?
They're more of they're well-rounded everywhere.
Okay, I agree with you on that, but I think Houston's got better pitching, and pitching wins World Series in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, most definitely, but the thing is they have like the all-star team. They have Freddie Freeman, who's proven in the playoffs, Trey Turner, who does well in the playoffs, all these other guys, Mookie Betts, he lives for the playoffs. And it's not like it's their first. This is like their regular season. Yeah. Everything leading up to this was just like, oh, this is just training. This is practice, not a game. So I think the Dodgers just have it over Houston. Let's go over to the AL side. Tampa Bay versus Guardians. Who do you got there?
Tampa.
Man. Oh man, that's hard. That's hard for me. That's a toss-up.
And here's why. Because if Cleveland was in the AL East, they wouldn't be in the playoffs.
Well, yeah,
Baltimore would be.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, I guess. Mariners or Blue Jays?
This is the tough one for me.
Yeah.
This is the toughest pick for me out of both sides of the bracket. I took Toronto to go to the World Series at the beginning of the year. I think they ain't got the team. I think it'd be more fun to see Seattle.
Yeah. I think it's going to be the Blue Jays purely because they're going to have home field advantage for games 1 and 2, and the Mariners are such a young team and inexperienced that they are going to be just shocked by how loud Rogers Center is.
Hey,
in Toronto.
In the first round, the home team gets all 3 games.
Oh, that's right. So, yeah, all 3 games are in Toronto.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a 2-game sweep, honestly. I love the Mariners. I've been high on them all year. Julio Rodriguez, Rookie of the Year. But I think it's not even – I think it's going to be just too much for the Mariners. I hope I'm wrong because I love the Mariners. Tampa Bay versus Yankees. Who wins that?
Yanks.
Okay. Yeah, I got the Yankees too. Tampa Bay, they typically figure it out, but I think the Yankees.
They're good against the Yankees, though.
The Yankees, the scary thing about the Yankees is they're getting their team back. They're getting Matt Carpenter back. They're getting Giancarlo Stanton back. They're getting
Harrison Bader's playing more.
Harrison Bader, who's doing really well for the Yankees. It just angers me to no end that he's doing well.
When he's healthy, he plays well.
It just he plays like he's Hank Aaron, and it's like, dude, come on. Oh my gosh, it's a stupid hair. Blue Jays and Astros. I have Astros. Yeah. Yankees and Astros. Who goes to?
The only team I hate more than the Yankees.
Really? See, for the reasons I said the Yankees were going to win the Tampa Bay series is the reason why I think they're going to beat the Astros.
I think the Astros pitching is just
they're going to shock the Astros. I think pissed off at the Astros also. That is true. They are really good, but I think the Yankees are going to have this anger against the Astros, and they're going to have a lot of fresh guys coming off the IL, and I think that's going to hurt the Astros. So I have Cardinals and Yankees in the World Series, and you have Astros and Cardinals in the World Series. I'm going to go first. I think the Yankees.
There it is. Jojo Romero just walked in the game-winning run.
It's whatever. Yeah, I haven't paid attention to I paid attention to Friday and I paid attention to Sunday, and I didn't even care about the result. At this point, it's whatever. Who cares? Who do you have winning the World Series?
Who'd you have?
I had the Yankees beating the Cardinals.
I had the Cardinals beating the Yankees.
I thought you had the Astros.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, rephrase. If the Cardinals are playing the Yankees, I have the Cardinals beating the Yankees. Rally squirrel, baby. I'm going to stick with the Cardinals.
Wow. I would love that, obviously, and it hurts me because I've been saying ever since the trade deadline, the Cardinals were going to win the World Series. And I kind of have the Yankees. I like the Yankees right now.
You want the shocker?
What?
The Cardinals do it in 6.
I hope they do it in 5.
I'd rather them win at Busch.
Yeah. Well, in 6, they're going to be in the Astros in 6.
No. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes, so I would want them to do it in 5. I forgot baseball changed there. It's 2-3-2. My fault.
Yeah. So yeah, Cardinals, Yankees, Astros in the World Series. Obviously, this is going to happen.
We're going to speak it into existence.
Josh, do you have any words of wisdom to say before we leave?
Today was only Monday. If it was a tough day for you, chin up, rock and roll. Playoff baseball starts this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. It's the most exciting time of the year. We got NFL regular season. We got hockey season starting up in the next Well, actually, hockey season starts this weekend with games in Prague. You got playoff baseball happening. Wild card round's going to be nuts. New format. This is the best. The next 10 days is the best times of the sporting year if you're a sports fan. Not if you're a baseball fan, not if you're a football fan, but if you're a sports fan, it is constant, nonstop content for you to enjoy, bring into your brain, bring into your eyeballs, and just feast.
Yeah. And we're going to have to
set up, enjoy your week. Don't worry about Mondays. Mondays suck for everybody.
Yeah. And it's going to be a fun month of baseball, football, hockey, basketball. Okay, maybe not basketball. For the VSN family. So we're going to have watch-alongs. We're going to have our guys from the BSing Sports podcast come on. They're going to watch along with the Cardinals and Phillies playoffs if that happens. Wild card series if that happens. So yeah, we're going to have some fun. We're going to have probably once every other day recaps. So, and also if you haven't been watching the football, talking the gridiron with our guys, Jimmy and Darren and Tyler and Nico, you're missing out. It's the best fucking show. Makes me want to be better at my job, as proven by this episode.
Where he was no better.
No.
He was very rusty.
It's been rusty. And so, yeah, those guys are the best fucking football podcast on the planet. Pat McAfee, you're a good punter, but
hey, I love
No, I'm
Pat.
kidding.
Watch it.
I do love Pat too. It's Pat. Anyways, live long, watch some day of baseball. Josh, hit that sick beat.